Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 27 of the Gritcast. Today, we are back. Another week of not very much going on in hockey, as I've said the past 2 weeks-ish, it seems like, but we're back today. My co-hosts, Darius and Matt. How are we doing today, fellas?
Good.
You know, it's Tuesday.
It's as good as a Tuesday can get.
I know, right? But yeah, nothing going on really. We got some stuff to talk about. Not all hockey, but we'll do a little bit of hockey first, as we always do. But first things first, fellas. What happened in the NHL last week? Not a whole lot, but what did happen is Leafs and Tampa Bay, they are officially locked in. It's been known since like November that it'll be Leafs versus Tampa, but it's officially locked in now. And I did do a show with my friends for my school radio station, where we talked about the Leafs Tampa series. Looking at it, I kind of think the Leafs, I think Tampa's worse. If I'm being honest, I think the Leafs got better. But I'm curious. As for you, Matt, who doesn't really care, what would your pick be going into the playoffs? Honestly,
I think I said this a few weeks ago, but it's going to be the Leafs, and not only is it going to be the Leafs, but they're going to get it done in 5 games. They just got the momentum, and Tampa's on the ropes. Tampa's played a lot of hockey these past 3 years, and I think it's finally caught up to them.
Hey Matt, quick question: have you ever watched the Leafs game?
I know, but here's the thing, fellas. I believe, and you don't. I know you've been accustomed to.
He has the passion.
I have the passion.
Yeah, because I have reason to believe.
Just because I have Oilers gear on doesn't mean that automatically makes me think I hate the Leafs. But Leafs in 5.
That's bold.
If you did a playoff bracket, you would put the Leafs in 5?
I would put the Leafs in 5, and I wouldn't hesitate.
Damn.
Tampa. They take game 1, and then the Leafs gentleman's sweep.
Gentleman's sweep. Okay.
Back on home ice too. Game 5. If they clinch, I guess they're getting home ice, right? They're up by what, 6 points?
They're up by. I think they also have a game in hand.
They have 2.
So
one or 2,
it's not officially clinched yet, but they also faced Tampa.
This week.
Like their second last game of the season.
Yeah.
So, should be interesting. But yeah, I was going through the lines. One thing we were talking about with a couple of my buddies, we were talking about the Leafs line, and I know it's stereotypical to be like, oh, what's the Leafs third line gonna be? Like, typical Sports Center, CSN, Sportsnet stuff. Like, let's break down the Leafs third line, even though McDavid just scored 60 at the end of the day. So that's always fun to do. But I was thinking about I had a big argument with my friends over Sam Lafferty and how he doesn't do anything. Darius, when you're watching, do you think Sam Lafferty does anything?
I saw a tweet. I forget who tweeted it out, but was like, "Oh, this guy's useless. I can't believe we traded for this guy." The other day after the Detroit game, and I'm like, I didn't even watch the Detroit game. You know what I mean? He's there for the playoffs. They're getting these Nick Paul type players because in Game 7, Nick Paul scores 2 goals. Your top guys don't do anything. So they have these guys now that they went out and got for their third and fourth line that are going to give you these options in games like that. In those situations, it doesn't matter if he didn't show up to score against Detroit on a Sunday night game on the second half of a back-to-back.
He hasn't showed up for any game, was my argument. He hasn't showed up for any game.
Yeah, but he's not. Argument. But they didn't bring him in to score. I think a lot of people miss that boat with the Leafs. He didn't come in. He wasn't acquired to score.
Yeah, but they brought him in to do stuff. He doesn't do anything.
But I don't think that's a bad thing either against Tampa. The Leafs don't have enough guys that don't do anything. You know what I mean? That are very neutral. But last year the whole bottom 6 did nothing. You know what I mean? No, I think the bottom 6 was a little. No, David Camp was good. The whole series, okay, he was good.
Yeah, that's it though. But
I know, but that's no, fair.
5 other guys.
I thought they were more detrimental to the team rather than just neutral, if that makes sense. They didn't really go out there and just make sure nothing happened. It was they're always getting scored on.
Yeah, and I think one thing we got into an argument over is if Matthew Nyes comes over. Who's coming out of the lineup? And it was between Sam Lafferty and Zach Aston-Reese, and I went with Sam Lafferty because I feel like Zach Aston-Reese does a lot more in his role. Mm-hmm. Again, fourth liners. What are we really arguing over here? Least impactful part of the game.
The Matt Nyes thing, it's got to stop. got to stop. He's not going to come in and be a difference maker. He might come in and get some experience.
This is my thing. A lot of people were like, "Oh, what is he gonna do?" I'm like, "What if he does something?" I think the problem with Leaf fans is it's always like, "Oh, what could go wrong?" Matthew Nice comes in, he looks terrible. But I thought about it like, if you have like Ryan O'Reilly centering that third line, for example, I don't know what they're gonna do because I feel like playing Alex Kerfoot second line left wing would be terrible in the playoffs because Calle Yarncroc has found his spot first line left wing. It seems like, which is crazy. But. And like Bunting doesn't seem to work with Tavares and Nylander at all.
And with
so
the
they might
whole
put
penalty
O'Reilly
situation, like he should probably be on the third line.
Yeah. So I was thinking like, what if you did like a line of like Nyes, O'Reilly, and Bunting? You know what I mean? Like that'd be a formidable third line.
Yeah.
And looking at Tampa's forward depth, they've stacked their first line with Kucherov, Point, and Stamkos.
Yep.
After their first line, honestly, it's like 3 third lines. Like I don't think their second line touches the Leafs' second line. I think their third line is maybe even, depending on who they put. And the fourth line is a wash. It's gonna be like right now. I think it's Jeannot, Belmar, and Perry.
And Maroon, or who's the other guy?
Corey Perry's there.
Yeah.
Pierre-Edouard Belmar's there.
How could I?
Random assortment of random guys.
Yeah,
exactly. So
but I don't know. I think
I'm big play Matthew Nice. I think they should play him. It gives them a whole different element.
I'm not disagreeing, but I think people are putting too much stock into him coming in and being like this savior who's gonna chip in for a couple goals here.
That's not my expectation for him, honestly. My expectation for Matthew Nice is people think he's gonna come in and get like crushed. The guy's like 6'3".
No, he's a big boy. Yeah. No, he's big.
I don't think he's gonna come in and get. Yeah, he's huge. So I think they should play the guy. Like, why not? It's a really big. It's a cool thing for storylines, for vibes. Like, we get this kid in. Like, oh my goodness, it's super sick. It's not like when Robertson came in and was the ball and everybody was like having mental health issues. Like everyone. Yeah, sure. So it's like the vibes are nice. If a guy like Matthew Nice comes through, and I feel like O'Reilly is a guy that insulates Matthew Nice. You know what I mean? So
that whole line, if Bunting's there too, like that's if he was to play on a third line of Bunting, O'Reilly, and himself, I think that's good. Like he's kind of sheltered in that role. Right. He can kind of do his thing. I think that would be good. Under those circumstances, I don't know what Keefe is thinking. I don't know what Keefe is thinking all the time anyway.
Ever. But they haven't had solid lines in like 6 months, it feels like.
Hey, holy. I understand trying things, but maybe get something ready for playoffs in a week and a half.
It seems like defensively, Riley Shen and McKay Brody are the two pairs that are locked in.
I don't hate them, yeah.
And McKay Brody have been unbelievable together. They like don't let anything happen, which is cool when you're playing against Kucherov, Stamkos, and Point, obviously. Brandon Point, by the way, has like 48 goals. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, no, he's nuts. Yeah.
He's actually having a
lot of people
crazy
forget
season.
about him in the league when you're talking about best players. Like, he always gets buried just because I think he plays on Tampa, but he's sick.
Yeah. It's because also he would play like second line center sometimes with and then now that Andre Palat's gone, he's like really been insane. And I think he always had it in him, so that should be good. I also think Tampa's defense is a little worse. They lost McDonough, Jan Root is gone. Zach Bogosian's hurt right now, but they're giving high minutes to guys like Nick Perbeeks and they have Ian Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Hedman hasn't looked as good this season, so we're gonna get into a legitimate preview. I feel like as the matchups become confirmed, but with that being said, we will switch over a little bit to the Western Conference side of things, where it seems like one of the only kind of locked in matchups they're fighting for home ice right now is the Oilers and the Kings. Also another rematch of last year where the Kings lost in 7, the Oilers took it. But this year the teams look slightly different. The Oilers have a solid goalie, Stuart Skinner. They're not playing Mike Smith or Mikko Koskinen. And they got Matthias Ekholm, who's, I think we'll get into this later, the best trade deadline acquisition this year. And the Kings, they got Jonas Korpisalo, they got Vladislav Gavrikov, he's fit in there, and Kevin Fiala, and Drew Doughty will likely be playing this year, Victor Arvidsson. So every team looks both teams look more reinforced this year. So man, I like to think like, are you looking forward to this series? It seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, barring a Vegas meltdown, because Vegas currently has 3 points up on the Kings and 4 on the Oilers. It should be a fun rematch. I'm excited. There was the game last week where Stuart Skinner had a shutout, the Oilers' first shutout of the year, where both teams just looked playoff ready. The Oilers obviously a little more than the Kings, but as crunch time comes down to the wire, I think both teams will start to make themselves more known to each other before April 17th, and they actually play tonight, which should be fun back in LA to wrap up the season series between those two teams. Is there any sort of questions that you had regarding either the Kings or the Oilers?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, so they played each other last year. Nick preference. The teams look different this year. It's obvious. I think the Oilers are way better this year than last year, especially in the goaltending category. Are you scared, Matt, if they drop home ice, first of all, because they don't have it right now, I think, right? They're in the third?
Nope.
Yeah.
Third.
So are you afraid if they drop home ice that they could lose the series? Because the Kings are a good team. They're a good team, and they went to 7 last year.
They're so deep. The Kings are so deep. It's crazy how deep that team is.
Would you? I know the Oilers look better. They went to the third round last year, but are you scared about this first round series?
Funny you mention that. I feel like the Oilers are more confident on the road compared to at Rogers. I don't have the exact stat breakdown, but they just played a lot better on the road. They didn't have the slower starts than they did at Rogers. But if they drop the first 2 games, I wouldn't necessarily be worried. Jay Woodcroft is sort of good at, grounding everybody and sort of regrouping them towards like if we're down 2 games, so what? Those are 2 games. There's still lots of time left in the series to sort of bounce back and do something prevalent. And with guys like Draisaitl and McDavid, and even the smaller wild cards like Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, all boils down to how Stuart Skinner performs in net in your defense, like Ekholm and Bouchard. That's a pairing that can get you pretty far.
I think. Sorry, Darius. Read the stat.
Yeah. I searched up the stats since Matt mentioned it, but their home and away record are like identical. They're 22.
Are they?
Yeah, like it's very close. They're 22,
Okay.
12 and 6 at home, and 23, 11 and 3 on the road. Like it's like a matter
That's
of
crazy.
like 2 or 3 games. Like it's pretty close.
I think something interesting Matt mentioned is that it boils down to defensive goaltending. I don't think it boils down to any of that. I think it just boils down to the power play and the man advantages that happens. Because the Oilers, no matter when they're down, they're not out because that power play hops on the ice and is almost a goal every time. Their percentages are higher than a penalty shot, which is very, very hard to achieve. But yeah, when you have guys like McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman, I believe or Evander Kane's on the first unit. I don't know.
Nope. No, yeah. McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, Hyman and Bouchard.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
Hyman sort of plays that in the front role.
Yeah, that's formidable as anyone, and obviously McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge have been, like as cool as they've got a lot of points. We're all okay with admitting they go to work on the power play. So there's nothing wrong with that because the power play helps you win games. The Oilers, whenever they're down 3-4-0, like everyone is like, oh, give them 2 power plays, they're back in it. So I think that series should be a lot of fun. The Kings, on the other hand, from the Kings' perspective, I think they're a really deep team. Their centers are not as formidable as the Oilers because who is? But at the end of the day, they got Kopitar. Philippe Deneau is one of the better shutdown centers in the league, as well as Kopitar. Bit older now, but still gets his job done. And they have a lot of supporting pieces, man. Arvidsson's a good player. Kevin Fiala is a good player. Quinton Byfield is really coming into his own recently. And Gabriel Velarde's also. They have a lot of guys, man. I think outside follow. They have a lot of guys. I think the Kings might be a little deeper than the Oilers, but like McDavid just blows everyone out of the water.
And it sort of boils down to which team can suck the other team into playing their play style. Like the Oilers, if you get into track meet with Edmonton, game's over. Whereas the Kings, they sort of like to slow the play down and force teams to, play the sort of trapping style, because that's what the Kings do. As soon as they go up one, Todd McClellan says, okay, clog the neutral zone, and it frustrates teams. So the key to solving LA is to score early and often as much as you can.
I'm also interested to see how Deneau fits into this series too, like what his role will be against the Oilers. Like I think that should be interesting too, because I think Kopitar definitely takes McDavid. He's really good defensively.
It all depends too, because the Oilers have more success playing 11-7, and that makes it very hard for McClellan to line match, especially at Rogers Place where the Oilers have final change. So it's sort of a chess match that Woodcroft likes to play, going with 11-7. Sure, you sacrifice the forward, but it also gives you the advantage of playing 4D chess with the opposition.
It's probably going 7 again, eh?
That'll shorten my life.
That's
but
a deep
yeah.
series. That's a deep series. I think the Oilers already shortened your life. But let me just before we move on here, the Kings' four lines are so deep. Like first line, Byfield's first line left wing. I didn't realize that happened. Good for him. Kopitar, first line center. I forgot about Adrian Kempe. That guy's like a 30-goal scorer.
Yeah, he's sick.
Trevor Moore, really good player as well. Second line left wing. Then you have Dano Arvidsson, Alex Iafallo, Blake Lizotte, and Arthur Kaliev. And the fourth line right now is Carl Grunstrom, Rasmus Kupari, and Zach McEwen. But yeah, defensively too, man. I love their core. Gavrikov, Doughty, Sean Dursey, Matt Roy, Sean Walker, and Tobias Bjornfot. That's a deep team, man. And they just got Korpisalo, who's been amazing for them after Cal Peterson and Quick were just non-options at the NHL level. And Phoenix Copley, he's been okay for them too. I think they really shored up their depth. Not to discredit the Oilers' depth. They're deep after they added Bukestad and Ekholm. So I think that series should be a lot of fun. But we will move on to something I want to talk about with Darius here, especially. So apologies, Matt. But you can get it on this too, I'm sure. You always find a way. So Matt Murray got injured again, and he's also played bad again before he got injured. I think this is an interesting conversation because there was a tweet, forgot by who, that was like, he got injured, right? And then the reactions were like, damn, I wish Matt Murray worked out in Toronto. Which honestly, I kind of get that sentiment as well. I feel like same thing with Ottawa last year. When he was healthy, he played good. He got injured too much, and when he came back from injury, there was just too much in between the games where he looked bad. Against the Red Wings, it's just like some of these goals just shouldn't go in, even though it's defensive lapses. You got to make a save sometimes. And the injury, freak injury, of course. Like, I'm not going to blame the guy for getting tripped by Raymond and smacked his head on the ground, but I think going to the playoffs, it might be Joseph Woll and Ilya Samsonov. Darius, what do you think?
I'm fine with that. I like Joseph Woll. I know he's young, inexperienced at the NHL level, but I think he's going to be an NHL goalie one day. Like
Next year is the backup. Next year is the backup.
Yeah,
sure.
Actually, let's back up a little bit. Let's go to Matt Murray first. Freak injury, first of all. The guy fell, and everyone calling for it to be like a penalty or whatever. What are you talking about? The guy fell. And Matt Murray smashed his head. Like, what do you want? I know it's a freak injury, but this guy gets injured every 5 games, like, this season. So I would agree with, like, I wish it worked out in Toronto, but, like, we're done here, I think, already. And I was optimistic about him. Like, I really wanted it to work out. In November,
like, the first few months of the season, he looked great. Steady as hell.
It wasn't even that he was staying healthy, except for the first, like, literally the first game. It wasn't that he was staying healthy or seemed to have been staying healthy. It was that he was playing well. He was playing well, which is fine. But he's gotten injured every 5 games, it seems like, with something. And he's not playing well on top of it. When he does play, when he comes back from injury, he's not playing well. There was a couple goals. I can't remember who it was against, but someone scored a wraparound goal on him. It might have been the Oilers. I know they won that game. The Leafs. But
Matt Murray played terrible in that game.
It was the Oilers. Like, the Leafs won in spite of their goaltending. It looked like last year with Jack Campbell. Sorry, Matt. But, like, he looks awful. I can't defend it anymore, and I wish it worked out in Toronto. But Woll, we've been saying for a long time, Woll, he's going to be the guy eventually, right? So him to be
passes the eye test for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't have to look at his stats yet, but, like, just as in a backup role, whenever he has to come in, he looks fine.
Super calm. Yeah. I'm kind of sad the Matt Murray thing didn't work out. It was a lot of hype going in. Toronto boy really wanted to play here. So it would have been nice if it did, but yeah, it's unfortunate. But Samsonov is an RFA, $1.8 million qualifying. Joseph will sign through like 1 or 2 more years, making under $1 million. I think the writing's on the wall for Murray, unfortunately, because we all wanted him.
And to go back to playoff, obviously Samsonov starting and Woll backing up, but Samsonov.
But the pedigree. Come on, man, Matt Murray's pedigree.
But that's what a lot of people are talking about. But it's like, yo, watch the games. I'm so confident. I'm so confident in Samsonov. Like, as a fan, like not Matt Murray, Jack Campbell. I love that guy. He was so lovable, right? Made me nervous. Okay, made me very nervous. It was like Cujo
Makes
vibes.
me nervous.
Yeah, like very Cujo vibes. Made me nervous. Frederik Andersen. If a puck was coming side to side, it's going in the net. If somebody shot it from the corner, it's going in the net. And I was like very nervous about that shit.
Was the worst because he was one of the most calm goalies, like when it came to like normal shots. Yeah. But in like a game 6 or game 7, he was letting a goal from like the side, like the red line. I'm like, what is going on?
But every time.
You do this every time.
Every year.
Every time.
Yeah. So I was like, this guy stinks. Get rid of this guy. And but now with Samsonov, it's like Like he has games where I'm kind of like, oh, you should have made that save. But it's like goalies, every goalie's gonna have that, right? Cup winning goalies have that. He, to me, like has a calm presence, and he just looks confident in his net. Like I don't know. I think he's just a good goalie.
There's a lot of
he's the guy.
Matt, I know you can speak to this based on watching Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith and then going to Stuart Skinner and I guess Jack Campbell. So you have a lot of experience there. There's a lot of eye testness when it comes to goals. I know you can look at their goals saved above expected, save percentage, all that fun stuff, which obviously do matter. When a guy is like negative and goals saved above expected, he probably stinks. But it's just sometimes I feel like like when you're watching a goalie, they just look sound. Like you're watching a play, you're like always in position, stay in the right spot. Like how often like Jonathan Quick would like put himself out of position, then have to make a miraculous save because he's just like off to Narnia on the left side of the net. But it's like it's a cool save, but like why did you like skate 5 feet out of the way? You know what I mean? Like you didn't need to do that. So I don't know what you guys think of like the eye testing with goalies in terms of confidence.
Go ahead, Matt.
See, and that all boils down to like confidence, not only in you, but the defense that you have in front of them. But sometimes that doesn't even matter. Like the most calm goalie I've seen in like the past 5-10 years is Hellebuck. I've never once seen him get in his own head, and it's almost miraculous. Like the Jets could be down 5-0, and it's like, okay, he's gonna make the save like the game is tied. And it's almost something that's like not taught in goalies, but like that you're born with. Like there's some goalies that you wonder how did they make it to like the pro leagues, right? And like every shot that goes in.
Garrett Sparks. Oh my God, man. That guy was one of the anyway.
He's a DJ.
Continue.
Now he's a DJ. But I think another good example is Allmark from the Bruins. Like when the Leafs played him earlier this year, I was like, dude, this guy is calm. He is literally always in position. Like he's not throwing himself all over the place. He knows where the puck is going. And Hellebuck, like you said, like guys like that, they're calm. I still think Samsonov's a little he likes to go for walks sometimes. He likes to throw himself out of position a little bit too much, but he is Leaf goalie, like the most like calm Leaf goalie I've seen since maybe James Reimer.
Wait a minute.
Trying to break down the goalie, like the goaltender position, like psychologically is like trying to divide by zero. Like you can spend so long while trying to do it, but it's like you will never get yourself like a concrete answer as to like why or how they perform.
No,
it's such a wild card.
Yeah,
they're so different.
They're different. You got to be a different cat to play goaltending. Like it's the hardest position, and they just like the shots they're facing, how fast they are. Like you just got to be. I don't know. They're different cats, man. Like,
yeah. Goalies are a different breed, but we are going to move on to our next segment here. So unfortunately, the Russian association with not wearing Pride jerseys continues to increase. Now, honestly, I think it's maybe gotten to the point where like it's not like personal beliefs and it's more political out of necessity. But then people also bring up that like Malkin has worn it. A lot of other Russians have worn it. But what I'm talking about is Andrei Kuzmenko is not wearing the Pride jersey. I'll be interested to see what happens tonight with the Leafs game. Like if Samsonov wears it because he's Russian.
Are they playing at home tonight? Is it their Pride jersey night tonight?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay.
So I'll be. No, they don't wear Pride jerseys. They never have. Who? So yeah, so that'll be the Leafs. They've never worn Pride jerseys.
Yeah,
really?
And with the Oilers, but the Oilers, they had like the Pride Appreciation Night. They didn't have the jerseys, but they wore Pride tape, and I do believe Clean Costin. Yeah, he had the.
They do tape. They do skates. They do like custom stuff, but they don't. They've never had actual jerseys. The Leafs.
No.
Yeah, it's what's crazy. CB24 put out a headline today that said Toronto Maple Leafs will not wear Pride jerseys for their Pride night. And I'm like, they never have. That's terrible.
I saw something on Facebook yesterday where they posted something about the Blues not wearing them last night. The Blues didn't play last night. It's hard to wear a jersey when you are not playing. Like,
I feel like that headline is so that's
clickbaity.
So it's being thrown
and hurtful.
Now. It's crazy.
It's very hurtful too. To first of all, people are part of the community. And number two, the Leafs organization, it's very hurtful. Because like they don't wear Pride jerseys, number two. And it's like, imagine being someone who like doesn't know they usually don't wear Pride jerseys, and you're like, oh, what the heck? The Leafs are wearing them? Like, oh no. And it's like
the phrasing. It's the
terrible.
phrasing makes
it's
it
terrible.
look
It's
horrible
terrible.
if you don't know otherwise.
Yeah.
But they're not even focusing on how like the Leafs are gonna do all this other stuff during the game, right? Like
it's always a negative.
Yeah.
It's always a negative.
Everything is. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, well, no, that's what people like, right? Nobody likes positivity. If the Leafs did well, people would be angry, but they're happy when they do bad. So it is what it is. But I do want to say quickly, we'll reiterate, we all believe hockey should be welcoming for everyone. I know it's tough seeing all this stuff happening in the NHL because it usually hasn't happened before. As we said, Ivan Provorov started this whole snowball effect, but. I hope people do feel welcome, man. It's a great sport, not the greatest league. But we'll say this every week until it's not a topic of conversation anymore. Which I hope positively that eventually we don't have to be like, oh, this guy's not wearing a Pride jersey. It's stupid. But unfortunately, that's just the way the sport is right now and the way the community is. So now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I want to talk about. It's been a month since the trade deadline. Okay, we've seen everyone mostly on their new teams. But I want to ask the question: who do you guys think has been one of the most like the best acquisition, and who's been the worst acquisition? And if you want to throw an underrated one in there, sure, go for it, do whatever you want. But just what's your opinion so far on the trade deadline now that each player's had a month with their new teams? Matt, I'll defer to you first.
I think the obvious one here that you mentioned earlier was Matthias Ekholm. Like just the way he's solidified that entire blue line. It just makes everything more calm. Like that's the only way I can wrap around it. Like the way he's made Evan Bouchard look like another veteran right beside him when this is only his second full-time season in the league.
Anyway, Bouchard.
He's been 35 for like 10 years now.
He looks like
he's 35 in London. Oh
yeah, my goodness. Literally, he looked 40 in his first year in London. Like,
anyways, Matt, continue.
Yeah, like Ekholm, and I'm trying to think of what's been paying off the least. Like. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up on the Rangers ever since they got Patrick Kane.
It's Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah, that was the obvious one. I was just trying to go for like one that wasn't going to be discussed. But yeah, Tanner Jeannot. Even though with the Rangers,
benefit of the doubt, baby. Tanner Jeannot in the playoffs is going to score 18 goals. He's going to do it.
All in Game 7 against the Leafs.
Yep, he's going to score all his goals. He's going to be up 1-0. This is going to be up 2-0 or 1-0, and Tanner Jeannot is going to score 3 goals. He's going to double his career total with the Lightning right now because he just scored like a couple of days ago his first goal for them. Fourth liner, by the way, five draft picks. 5. Anyway.
I tried to big brain it. But it's Jeannot.
Kane and Tarasenko have both been good. So I can't really be mad at that.
Okay,
but,
that's why I couldn't form a solid opinion.
Yeah.
Ever since that one game, against the Sens, I haven't watched anything with them.
It's hard to argue against the Oilers not being the winners so far. Like it's very obvious what that trade deadline has done for the team. I like the Leafs trade deadline too. McCabe has been so sick, right? Especially with
Ryan O'Reilly hasn't played,
and he hasn't really played. But I mean, like. This, like, if you look at everything overall, like, I like Shen coming in too. O'Reilly hasn't really played, but he's been impactful in the games he's played, I think.
Get a hat trick.
Yeah, like, pretty impactful. In a big game against the Sabres too. That was a big game, and the Sabres are not going to make the playoffs now. Screw them. But those two teams definitely. The Jeannot trade is horrible. It looks the guy has not scored yet. I don't even know.
Once.
I don't think he has. I don't think he has.
No, he has. He scored a couple days ago.
Oh, a couple days ago. Oh, sorry. 1 goal.
One's better than 0.
An entire draft class.
We do a hockey podcast, fellas, and this guy does not keep up. He's a casual.
I am.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm definitely a casual fan.
You don't know about Tanner Jeannot's goals.
I would say
single goal.
I would say the Jets too.
What do they do?
Nothing.
That's the point.
Nemesnikov. No, but guys, the Jets just beat the Devils, so they're back. You gotta assume after 3 months of being terrible, they won 1 game and they're back now. The boys are back.
Yeah, beating up on the Devils on the second night of a back-to-back.
Sick. Yep.
Yeah, they're back.
They're back.
They're
Kyle
legit.
Connor scored. They're legit. They're the boys. You know, the Jets after going from first in their division to being a 50-50 shot at making the playoffs. The Jets won a single game.
It's probably less because I think the Flames have a game in hand, and they're like 2 games.
Yeah, the Flames are on their ass.
On their ass.
It's actually crazy.
And while we're talking about the Jets, Darius, I know you had some thoughts on Kyle Connor.
Dude, this guy is single-handedly gonna lose me my fantasy championship playoffs. Single-handedly, this guy scored 1 goal in the last like month. Okay, I have no idea how I made it to the championship round without this guy scoring. He was a -9 points in my last playoff round, which I'm doing it on the ESPN app, so it's 2 weeks long. It's stupid, but anyway, that's just the way we're doing it. So my last round was 2 weeks long. He was a -9. Kyle Connor. So I'm only 4 points back now of the guy I'm playing, and we have till this Sunday, so I think I can still win if this guy scores at least 1 goal. Jesus Christ. But this guy stinks. 1 goal in the last 6 months.
Anyways, Nemesnikov.
For those at home that don't feel bad for Darius, I'm right along with you. So Nick, what else do we have?
There are people out there that also have Kyle Connor on their fantasy teams, and he is terrorizing fantasy teams right now. Okay.
I'm gonna send him a DM on Instagram. Play better. Come on, man. I bet the over on your shots, bro.
I have money on you.
Let's dehumanize athletes even more. Yeah. Let's go. Anyway, best trade on acquisition. I don't really know. You guys kind of covered all the bases here. Dmitry Orlov on Boston. Sure. I'll go with him.
He scored the overtime winner the other day.
Yeah, he's been really good. You know what's weird? I've heard nothing about Timo Meyer since he got traded. Have you guys?
Zero.
Like, what happened to Timo Meyer?
It is no longer Timo time, fellas.
Dude, Devils fans were like, we're getting this guy, you know? Like,
how did it do? They gave him Fabian Zetterlund and Nikita Koyuk or whatever that, and Shakir Mukamadulin. What are these guys' names?
Yeah.
So it's like, hold on, let me look this up because I haven't heard about him since the trade.
Let's find out.
Hockey DB.
Well, I know he for sure didn't do anything against the Jets on Sunday. I know that.
He was 52 and 57 points in games with the Sharks. He got traded. He has 9 points in 16 games.
I'm seeing.
And he's -2, the most important
He saved the team.
He's back. See, that's why the Jets are back.
14 penalty minutes on the Devils.
That's what he usually does, though.
No, he had 25 with the Sharks the whole time.
Oh shit!
He does
Normally-
not
normally
really take penalties.
He is.
Yeah.
He's more penalty minutes than points.
Yeah.
Fellas, normally the Swiss are pretty neutral too, right?
You're crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, Timo Meyer hasn't looked good, amazing just yet. He was like the most highly touted acquisition. So
Don't worry, guys. It's not Timo time yet. That comes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not
Just
against
wait
the
a
Jets
week.
apparently,
That's
because
what
the Jets are back. The Jets are back. They're back, fellas.
Ehlers,
Jets-
baby. One
Jets
of our
are
best
back.
players. Let's put him on the second power play unit. Woo!
And then play him 12 minutes. Yeah.
Let's
go.
We're saving him for the playoffs we might not make.
Guys, remember when Josh Morrissey was going to win the Norris? I remember that, fellas.
Yeah, the first week of October.
Yeah, opening week.
I'm kidding. To all the Jets fans that listen, all 3 of you, thank you for listening.
One of them is Brad, but
Brad,
not even
yeah.
he listens to it.
Yeah, he don't even be listening.
You don't listen.
Yeah, if he listens to this, I just want to say, Brad, you suck.
Dude, last week we were like, oh yeah, Brad, we talked about that on the podcast, and he was like, oh, okay.
That's
Like,
nice,
I
and then he
don't
goes and
listen,
lets in
yeah,
a
like-
goal. Yeah.
Gets run over because he didn't pass it to the ball. Anyway, fellas, let's move on to some non-hockey stuff. So, boys, it seems like once a year the boys get back together, get in a group chat, and we all enjoy WrestleMania together. Other than that, I don't watch WWE anymore. But WrestleMania is a spectacle. And then Monday they announced the UFC WWE merger under Endeavor, the company. So now they're combining become a company that's worth like $22 billion, which is crazy. But guys, what do we think of WrestleMania as a whole?
I've got some thoughts on it, but Darius, I'll let you go
You
first.
want me to start? As a whole,
Yes.
the weekend was, I thought, one of the better WrestleManias in a while. I usually watch every WrestleMania except for over COVID. I kind of just lost interest because there was no crowd. I'm not watching this. But the best one in the last little while. There was shock value. The whole production was it looked amazing. That stadium is crazy. Like I couldn't imagine being in the middle of that ring. Like that like electricity. Like that would be crazy. But I thought overall it was fun. And I had so much fun this weekend, like just like texting people and being like, yo, did you see that? Like it was a lot of fun. So Matt?
Normally, I'm all elite, but WrestleMania is WrestleMania, right? And I always check it out.
Matt P is all elite.
Yeah,
Matt P.
make the graphic, Darius. Come on. But normally, like WWE, I'm off and on throughout the year. Like a few years ago, I watched like every pay-per-view, every television event, and then I got a job and a life, and so now I'm in and out.
What's that supposed to mean?
Exactly what he said. That's
Yeah,
what that means.
Exactly what I said. What I
Let's
got
not
a life.
disrespect all the pro wrestling fans, okay? It's a legitimate athletic activity.
Oh,
He
come
didn't
on,
say
they'd agree
anything
with me.
against that.
Yeah. But like the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, night one and night two had completely different tones. Night one, it's WrestleMania.
Night one was crazy.
It was fantastic. Night one was amazing. Send the crowd home happy with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning the tag titles. Spoiler alert, not really. And then night two, it's like the night one, all the hope from night one just gone. All the obvious winners or the winners that you really wanted didn't win. It almost seemed like Vince took control of night two.
Apparently he took control of Raw on Monday.
He did.
That's why, like,
he did.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff. Once a year, I get really into wrestling for like a week, and I'm like reading all these stories and shit, and I'm like,
I don't know why I watched Raw. I don't know why I watched Raw yesterday. I haven't watched the Monday Night Raw in like 2 years.
Yeah.
It almost seems like that balance between like the regular season of the NHL and the playoffs. It's like, I don't care what's on WrestleMania season. Let's go.
Exactly. No, like I feel like the WWE's playoffs is like January to April. Like the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, all the road to WrestleMania as they describe it. And then like WrestleMania is like the finals, and then like the Monday is always like whatever happens that Monday. And I think it's always fun to build up. A lot of people like. I don't know why I'm like, I enjoy pro wrestling. They're like, it's fake. I'm like, I know it's fake. Yeah, of course.
Every show you watch is fake.
Yeah,
what difference is there?
It's like when you go to watch a movie or like a TV show, it's like, oh, it's fake, but I enjoy the storytelling. That it's not. I'm not watching it to be like, damn, this guy is like the best real athlete in the world. Which they're all skilled athletes. You have to be like somewhat athletically gifted to do stuff like that. You think like Sami Zayn is just some random guy off the street? No, he's athletic.
Can I just add on something here? My biggest gripe is not striking the iron while it's hot, and that's exactly what they didn't do with Cody Rhodes. Like, could you imagine in prior storylines where it's like, oh, he's ready to slay the dragon, and then he gets beat? Like, could you imagine at WrestleMania 21, John Cena against JBL? They're so ready to transform Cena into the superstar, and then JBL beats him. It's like, no, who cares about long-term storytelling? You gotta give the fans what they want when they want. And that's exactly what they missed out on. Now
I think they were treading very dangerous water back in 2014 when they almost didn't give Daniel Bryan to the fans. And it was, dude, the main event of that WrestleMania was going to be Randy Orton Batista. People would have booed that shit out of the building. Like, that would have been in 2014. That's not a main event. 2014. Okay? So, like,
Batista.
They finally gave the Daniel Bryan storyline. He ran with it, the yes chants and everything. Like, it was magic, right? And I think you had that same lightning in a bottle with Cody this WrestleMania. And for the sake of just hitting 100 or 1,000 days on the reign, they went with the long-term storyline. They're going to do something else with it.
Hate it. I don't hate it.
I actually don't hate it either, because I think they can still do a lot with it, because there's a whole arc now where they could be like, oh, Cody, he just came in, he's not going to be handed anything.
They'll just give him the Cena treatment after he lost to The Rock.
Yeah.
He just loses for 6 months, and then he's like, oh my God, I keep losing, and then he wins.
Yeah. He might be a bigger babyface this time next year, though. Like, more than he is now, which is saying something, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to keep up that, like...
You're right.
That momentum with it.
Right.
Like, how are they going to do this for an entire year?
They did it with Cena and Rock somehow.
Know,
but
Cena
that's because Cena's like once in a lifetime, no pun intended. But like that guy, he could have the crowd in the palm of his hand for as many years as he wanted. With
same
Cody,
same with The Rock.
That's why I was so disappointed in that Cena Theory match. I'm like, I know Theory was gonna go over. That match sucked. Like, nothing even happened.
Yeah, but that's...
And Theory didn't even go over clean. I thought he was. Like, Cena's gonna go for a movie anyway.
Weird. It was weird.
Like, it was so dumb.
But to have like Cody be like at the you can't act like he's at the bottom of like the tier list for an entire year. You got to build him back up without making it seem like it's like forced. And I don't know how they're going to do that.
No, it's going to be tough to keep the momentum he had coming into this.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
was literally riding, like, he was set to jump off the freaking ramp with this win, right? Like, we were headed for something amazing, and they just didn't give it yet. But it's like, how long are people going to hold on? And a lot of people are like, I saw a lot of people on Twitter like, oh, it's okay, he didn't win at WrestleMania, he'll win at SummerSlam. Hey, me, casual, I'm not watching SummerSlam. I'll watch WrestleMania, though. So if you give him the belt at SummerSlam, I won't be watching it. But good luck.
He's gonna watch SummerSlam. He's gonna watch SummerSlam.
No, I'm not gonna watch SummerSlam. I haven't watched SummerSlam since I was a kid. Okay.
I've watched SummerSlam since I went in 2019.
That's fair though, because you went. But like,
I couldn't even name like what even was the main event last year. Oh, I think it was like Roman against Brock.
Just guess Roman the last. Just guess Roman the last 2 years. It'll be Roman and someone. So Roman and Cesaro. You know, it's massive. So yeah. But I think it was a lot of fun. It was fun to feel like I was like, you know, like interacting with you guys watching it. It was like, yo, this is so sick. Like, what's happening? But I was talking to this with my friend this morning. And we're talking how like you really go through 2 stages as a wrestling fan. The oblivious kid where it's like, oh my god, like please babyface, please win. I need you to win, or like I'll cry. That was me after like John Cena lost to CM Punk, man. I was a mess for like a good week. I was like, come on, bro, no. And then like when Cena got beat up by the Nexus, bro, that shit was the worst day of my life. Like out of everything. So and then I remember when Cena remember when he had to like let Wade Barrett win against Randy Orton, or he'd be fired from the company. Yeah. He'd have to leave, and then he came out and did that farewell speech. Man, what a dick, bro. That shit pissed me off. And the next week he's in the front row with a ticket. What a joke. So, but yeah, I think eventually you get older. There's like I feel like a little time difference where like you're like, oh my god, it's fake, like it's for kids, I don't care anymore. And then you start picking it up again, and you're like, you know what? I have a different appreciation for what wrestling is now, between the storytelling. Like it's one of the best the storytelling companies in the world, or sports in the world. Like no one really does it better than pro wrestling in terms of building and telling a long-term story. They've done it so well for so many years. And, like, it's definitely better than a lot of movies and TV shows I've watched. I think a lot of people give it a bad rap because it's, you know, not real.
Oh, it's sports, fake.
Like, yeah,
fake. They're not even hitting each other with the chair, Nick. Look at that fake blood.
Concerto, and then the match ends. But, yeah, I think wrestling it's fun in spurts. I definitely couldn't be bothered to watch Monday and Friday every night. I'd probably ever again. But ever since they moved Raw to three hours, I was kind of like, this is a lot.
It's a little much. Yeah.
You want to feel old? Raw's been 3 hours now for 11 years.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that
July
just
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that when they moved to 3 hours for the 1,000th episode, right?
1,000th, yeah.
You want to hear something else crazy that feels like it was yesterday? That CM Punk pipe bomb, like the first one, is 12 years old. That happened 12 years ago. Isn't that like messed up?
This guy John Cena's sitting there
selling a table, going to the table for a half hour.
And the camera just keeps randomly cutting through him. Like, oh my god, that was so funny, bro. But yeah,
it's like going back to like childhood memories. It's like what happened in wrestling that year, and then you're sort of trying to piece it all together.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so true.
Crazy. Dude, glued to my TV. I remember when I was young enough to like not be able to stay up late enough to watch. I remember one time. It was the draft, the WWE draft, when they used to have it every year, and like I was like, come on, you gotta let me stay up late to see what happens. And then it was the year where John Cena got drafted twice.
Dude,
that was the funniest thing ever, bro.
Dude, I used to watch. I never used to watch it live. I used to watch the reruns on Tuesdays because in Canada they used to rerun it at 5 on Tuesdays. Yeah, so after school I used to watch it then, and then I remember that specific episode. Cena gets drafted to SmackDown. I'm like, what am I going to do on Tuesdays now? This is unacceptable. I'm never watching this product again. And then at the end of the show, sent back to Raw.
That was so. You know what? I used to think the draft was random. Like it was actually random. Of course it wasn't. Like, come on, bro.
The fall. I think it was like fall, like September 2005, when SmackDown moved from like Thursdays to Fridays. That was clutch because I was always a SmackDown kid. That's where the Undertaker was. Yeah. I was, and I'm always an Undertaker mark for as long as I live. And I was like, this is amazing. Raw, who cares about Raw? Let's go, Blue Brand baby. Is like,
Around that same
Bro,
time.
no, because it was like that though. It was like that. Like people were dedicated to their brand.
you
Like,
had to pick a side.
WWE used to have that, but now it's just like they split the brand and then wild card rule, and all of a sudden like everyone's like, I feel like
It doesn't.
you get a lot of benefit from superstar exclusivity. Because like on Monday you get to see these guys, Friday you get to see these guys, but I guess for like in terms of like a business model, it makes sense to have the best people available as much as they can.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more fun.
The last time like I felt like anybody had like brand allegiance was 2019. Because remember that it was like Raw and SmackDown, and then NXT was like, hey, what's up? And then they came up and they invaded the main roster, and it felt like it was an actual battle.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I remember like it used to be so funny when like Raw would like or SmackDown would like come to invade Raw. They're like, oh my god, the heels and the face.
It's Batista and Rey Mysterio.
They're working together.
But then like SmackDown would show up to invade Raw, and then randomly like they would just start fighting each other. Like one guy would like get pushed like accidentally, and they just start. Everyone would just, I don't know. It was WWE was always so it's so crazy.
It's so
the best part about like the brand battles was like on the specific brands, like the faces and heels, they didn't care. All they wanted to do was beat the other brand. So you'd see guys, I don't like JBL and Batista like working together. It's like, this is amazing. They don't care. They just want to beat the red guys over Raw.
Do you guys remember when like John Cena and like Randy Orton would be in like a heated rivalry, and all of a sudden like you see a YouTube video where it's like John Cena and Randy Orton pictured together having fun at a party, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
POV Googling Rey Mysterio unmasked.
Rey Mysterio
are Kane and the Undertaker brothers? And then you're like, wait a minute.
Is Undertaker really dead? No.
You would Google
Kane
and the Undertaker are really brothers, and it would just be like, no, they are not. And then like there would be an article underneath, and you'd be like, how?
I was never more devastated than, remember that ladder match between Edge and the Undertaker? And if the Undertaker lost, he was like banished or whatever, and he lost it. I was like, this is stupid.
Man, what the hell?
And then 2 months later, guy comes back and beats Edge in a Hell in a Cell. Like, let's go.
Bro, remember when Randy Orton cut a promo while Undertaker was having like a funeral? Like he was dead in the casket?
Oh, yeah.
And then Randy's cutting a promo and this guy choke slams, and I'm like, what is going on, bro?
That is WWE to a T, though. Like, how funny is that moment to really, like, if you really think about it, like, that's so funny.
Or like that one time Kane pushed Zack Ryder off the stage on a wheelchair. Bro, that was so funny, bro. Like, bro, remember when John Cena went through a spotlight? Big Show chokes him through a spotlight.
Yeah.
Like,
we could go on for hours.
Yeah, like one of the reasons
around that time though, because like the stories kind of just started getting so ridiculous because the talent really wasn't there, and the belt kept like switching back and forth. I was like, whatever.
Last thing I remember when there was a go home show. It might have been Survivor Series when it was Jericho, DX, and John Cena and the Undertaker. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then the Cena wins, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then Undertaker tombstones him when the show ends. I'm like, what just happened? What just happened?
Like, what are you gonna gain from this? They're not even in the same match on Sunday. What are you doing this for?
No, he just randomly just tombstoned him for no reason, and then there was nothing else. Like nothing else came out of it.
And then the copyright logo in the bottom left corner.
They used to get so pissed. The pay-per-view ends, and you'd see the thing, and you're like, "That can't be it. I can't wait till tomorrow."
Someone's gonna come out. Please.
And nothing. And I'd be like,
"Yep,
shit."
Wrestling.
You know what used to be crazy when like SmackDown was taped on Tuesdays, so you could like, if you were like tech savvy enough, you could like know what the whole show is by the time Friday comes out. It's like whatever, man. But fellas, we are going to wrap the show. We do have a quick wrap question. As always, thank you for my host for joining me. Matt for paying for the premium Zoom account. Arius for producing the show. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube. We're going to start really diversifying our content, especially with the NHL season coming to a wrap in about 2 months, and hopefully some good playoffs content for you. And check us out there. But our wrap question is, fellas, Easter is coming up soon. We all know Easter is associated with just chocolate and no one else, of course. But what is the goated chocolate bar specifically?
The bar. Oh man, that threw off my entire answer.
This is.
Reese's Cups count. Reese's Cups count.
Preference. I can't have them, so they suck.
Okay, fair enough. But, I mean, if something killed me, I probably wouldn't really like it either. So.
Yeah, you probably
depends how good it was.
Yo, Darius, if you're like on your deathbed, you gotta have a Reese's cup, bro.
You gotta
That's
have-
be
Honestly,
like-
yeah. No. I mean, like that would definitely happen. Like,
Yeah.
I'd just
Dying
be like,
wish.
yo, I'm
Give me-
dying. Like,
Go
I'm
to the
dying
vending
anyway.
machine.
Yeah. I'd be
Go
like,
to the vending
yo,
machine.
yo, this is bomb. Out. But
And it's like his tombstone would be like he had a Reese's. It'd be like Reese's in pieces or something like that.
Well, your tombstone's gonna be like Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em
Eat
up.
'em up, eat 'em up.
For
No.
my
Wait.
bar, I gotta go with like the Dairy Milk hazelnut bar. Those
Ooh,
are
Dairy Milk's
those-
classic. Dairy Milk's
Those
classic.
are goated. I like the
Milk's
regular
classic.
Dairy Milk, but like the hazelnut one just pushes it over the edge.
I just found out I can have hazelnut last week, so I'm gonna try that next weekend actually, or this weekend I should say, because it is
We
Easter.
should done your live Nutella.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Oh, it was a great
Don't know,
experience. I was like,
podcast.
damn,
Would have
dude,
been
that's
like
amazing.
ASMR for those who listen on Spotify or Apple Music.
Dude, almond
Well,
milk, very
all of a
delicious.
sudden you hear the guy choking. It's like, wait a minute, they didn't-
Gone wrong, and then you guys
Died.
upload the video anyway, and it's like gone wrong with the like thumbnail, you know?
Went to hospital, almost died. All that. A bunch of like our thumbnails are a bunch of like red words, but it'll be like a bunch of red X's and like stupid stuff. All that good stuff from YouTube in like 2015 when
Yes.
prank videos were popular. But Darius,
Um,
what would you say is the goated chocolate bar?
I'm very like plain Jane because my whole life I haven't been able to have nuts, right? So I really like Mars bars. Like,
Classic.
Yeah,
I think
those are
they're
classic.
really good. Like honorable mention, like Kit Kat and maybe Hershey's cookies.
I
and
like
cream.
Kit Kat. I like Kit Kat Chunky.
Kit Kat
more than
Chunky.
normal
That's what I
Kit Kat.
mean. Yeah. Not the original one is good too, but Chunky is like it's different, you know. But
See, I know this doesn't pertain to the question, but like my honorable mention wouldn't be like a bar, but it'd be like the chocolate itself. It would be around Christmas time, like the Lindor chocolates.
mm-hmm.
Like the balls.
The balls.
Yeah, those are number one.
Yeah.
You know you can
Oh,
get those like
are amazing.
you can get those like outside of Christmas, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
can buy
they
them
sell-
whenever.
I know, but they're like, yeah, pay like $15 for 3 Lindor
Four.
balls. It's like no thanks. And, yeah, and then you can get like you get a 2
No,
pack
that's
of
why-
Swiss Chalet.
That's why you.
Yeah.
That's why you go to the mall. You get the free sample, and then you leave, like everyone else does.
That's right. Yeah. Or you go to Swiss Chalet.
Let them know in on your secret, Nick. Or yeah, like there's go to Swiss Chalet.
Go to
get the
Swiss
2
Chalet at Christmas
The
time.
family pack. It leaves a little pack, and then they're gone. They're
Yeah.
gone. But I will say I do have a lot of credentials in terms of chocolate. I'm a big. If it wasn't obvious, I'm a pretty big fan. But like Darius said, Hershey's cookies and cream is bomb. Or like I love when you at the movies you can get like the ones in like the minis, like they're like this
my
big.
goodness.
But those are crazy good. But the bar is also good. An honorable mention to my boy Reese's Cups. Not exclusively a bar, but Reese's Cups are also good. And then
Have you
Dairy Milk has.
had the Reese's bar?
I haven't had the Reese's bar.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys had
Honorable
those like
mention-
Kit Kat nibs at the movies? Have you ever had those? They're like little Kit Kat
Nope.
bites.
Yeah, for like
Oh, yeah, I
I've
know
seen,
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've
Those
seen
are
Yes.
those.
good. Those are good.
Yeah, and it's like I also do like the Dairy Milk cookies and cream where it's like covered in the milk chocolate, but it's like that's pretty good. But
Oh, the Oreo
yeah.
Dairy Milk? Those
yeah,
are good.
Yeah, those are pretty good. But as you can see, Easter's coming up soon, so happy Easter to everyone that celebrates. Also happy Ramadan to everyone that's also fasting right now. Hope everything is going well with everyone's religious festivities. And with that being said, if you're watching this in the day or listening to this in the day, have a great day. If you're consuming this content at night, have a great night. And as I always say, fellas, if you're driving, always drive safe. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out, everyone.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.